Uh, Tell me your name.
Richard Ramirez, go by Rich.
And tell me about your childhood, Rich.
My childhood was pretty good, honestly. Very close to my family. Always we all grew up at my grandma's house. So it was my cousins, my aunties, my uncles, my mom, my dad. It was a lot of people in my grandma's house for sure who were very close growing up. So it was a good childhood overall.
And where did you grow up, and what kind of environment was it?
I grew up in San Francisco for most of my life. Moved to Daly City. Uh, Moved around a little bit after that, but basically I always was in San Francisco, went to school in Daly City. My environment, it was pretty good, It wasn't too bad, nothing too much, But I would say overall good environment.
And how was your relationship with your parents?
Um, Growing up, I was really close to my mom. Always been a mama's boy for sure. And I was close to my dad. I loved him a lot. And just until they had separated, that, I lost distance with my dad. But overall, when I was growing up, we all had a good connection for sure.
Would you say that the divorce was what impacted you the most in your youth?
I would say it wasn't too much. I got used to it, later on. In the beginning, it was kind of, I remember I was sad, couldn't really see my dad that much, but for the most part, it wasn't too much. I got used to it, got comfortable with it.
Tell me how you got along with your siblings and kind of your subsequent drug abuse, how that began.
So I was always really close to my sister, my brother. We had a good connection growing up, and yeah, no, I was always with them. I always hung out with the older crowd for sure, like my older cousins, sister, brother, and yeah.
And when did you first begin to use drugs?
I started using drugs when I was 11. That was my first time smoking. And from smoking, it went to drinking and so on, so on. So I started around 11. That was my first time for sure.
And did this affect you in school?
I was never really that good in school, to be honest. I was never really smart or nothing like that. I didn't like doing schoolwork or anything, but it definitely did affect my behavior for sure. That's when, I started getting in trouble a lot and, not really caring anymore. I wasn't too much of the good, nice boy that was known to be when I was growing up. I started just acting up, I guess you could say, for sure.
So kind of run me through how you heard about Teen Challenge and your first run through the program.
So 2019, I started realizing I really had a problem. I wanted help, and my mom was, begging me, just try go into a program and everything. And so someone from her church had gave me Kenny Rogers' number, and basically said, Teen Challenge is a great program. So I ended up reaching out to Kenny, and he gave me Steven's number. So I ended up, making a couple phone calls and everything, getting the blood work that you need to get into the program. And, I finally checked myself in. That was in 2019. I ended up staying for about a month, but I ended up, I was just like, man, I don't need this, Thought I could do it on my own, didn't think I needed it. So I ended up leaving after a month.
And how did that work out for you?
Within a couple weeks, I had relapsed, and like they say, once you get back into it, it gets worse, and that's for sure true. I ended up relapsing within a couple weeks, and it got a lot worse. Ended up overdosing within 2 months of me leaving, and a couple days later, I ended up going to jail, not knowing when I'm gonna come out, and yeah, it definitely didn't work out in my favor for sure.
How long did you spend in jail?
So I was locked up for about a year and a half. I'm still currently fighting that case right now. Uh, Man, just the whole time I was down, I was just thinking like, man, I should have just stayed in the program. I was just, I left because I didn't want to be here for a year. I didn't want to, listen to people, and I just wanted to do what I wanted to do. And now I was in jail, thinking like, man, now I don't know when I'm coming home. Now I gotta, just wait and everything. And I was just like, man, all I had to do was just stay in the program. So, yeah.
And so run me through the second time. So you came here, they released you from jail, and you came straight to the program. And how's that recovery journey been?
Just even being able to be here, the program was a blessing. They ended up giving me the program, ORing me, not even having to bail out or anything. Just go to the program, and just that alone was a blessing for sure. And I basically wanted it. I wanted to go my all in, put in my all, completely surrender. I wanted to actually, feel God's presence. I wanted to completely surrender to Him. I wanted to feel that light that people talk about. I wanted to feel the Holy Spirit. So, that's what really motivated and pushed me when I came here. That's really what I wanted, and that's basically everything I got out of it,
Mm-hmm. And you hit kind of a speed bump when you first got here, correct?
Yeah, so a couple of weeks here, about 3 weeks, a little bit after I had got baptized, I ended up relapsing. I ended up, back again, relapsing. And that's completely when I realized, like, okay, I have a problem, Even though I was facing all this time and everything, I still relapsed. So, it really made me realize on, like, what I need to do to change and what, I have to do to change, and why do I keep going back to, using. So, it was actually a blessing in disguise that happened, because after that I completely surrendered. I'm like, okay, I have a problem, and the only thing that's gonna help me fix that problem is God, and completely surrendering to God, stop leaning on my own understandings, and just giving my all to Him. And ever since then, everything been great. I've been working out, been in the best shape that I've ever been. I've learned so much here at this program, not even just through like with religion or anything like that, just work ethics all around. And I started going back to school while I was here. So just so many blessings like just came to me once I just stopped leaning on my own understandings and just giving it all to God.
Now, run me through kind of your first situation that opened your eyes to the spiritual realm while here at Teen Challenge.
So on a Wednesday night, we're worshiping and stuff like that, and praying, and I actually seen my first deliverance, and it just opened my eyes to actually knowing that this is real, it's not a game, and that we got to take it serious, I always prayed, God, show me that you're real, speak to me and everything, and I feel like that just happened for a reason, because He knew I had to see that to actually know that He's real, and it's not a game, and I had to completely give everything to Him. And even after that, He kept speaking like through other people to me, to people telling me things that no one had ever known, should have known, unless it was actually Him. So, He just kept speaking and showing me that He's real. So, just, man, it's great, for sure.
And since you've surrendered your life to Christ, how has that affected your familial relationships?
Just me completely surrendering is just, it's basically restored my whole family, my family's proud of me, and, they're asking, me and my mom's connection just grew better than ever, she's actually gonna get into the ministry now. Who would ever known that changing my life and surrendering my life would open those doors for her. And, has my brother asking me questions about God and, just asking me little advice. And, back then, nobody would ever ask me for any advice or any type of things like that. So just being around, just completely surrendering has been opening a lot of doors for just not only me, but my family as well, It has my auntie asking me if, her husband could get in here. So it's just a whole bunch of stuff, It's just a blessing.
So now you're sitting here, you are a couple days away from graduation. We've called you, Comeback Player of the Year. We're very proud of you. Tell us a little bit about what your plans are for the future moving forward after graduation.
I'm gonna just keep getting closer with God and, leaving everything in His hands, because, whenever I feel like I got it, that I could do it on my own, it never works out. It never ever does. So, I'm just leaving everything that I want, anything like that I feel like I need to do, I'm just leaving it in God's hands. Because just this whole time, one thing that I learned is never lean on your own understandings and just give it all to God. And, everything will happen within time, on His time. And so I'm gonna just keep leaving everything in God's hands, and just keep working on myself to better myself every day.
Do you have any words of encouragement for any potential students?
Just stick it out and don't lose focus on why you came. If it's to restore your family, to get your kids back, or you're just doing it for yourself, just don't give up, because those days will come where it's hard and you feel like you got it, you want to leave, you could do it on your own. Just don't listen to it. That's all the enemy, all he does is lie to you. So just surrender your life and just trust the process and just keep going. Don't forget why you came here. That's all I got to say, for sure.